Somewhere in a lab in San Francisco, a robot reached into a box it had never seen before and figured out exactly what to do. Nobody programmed that move. Nobody trained it on that exact box. It just knew, and that should terrify you or thrill you. For decades, robots were extraordinarily stupid. Strong, yes. Fast, yes. But ask them to adapt to something new, total failure. A traditional robot placed upside down or facing a slightly different shelf would freeze. It didn't understand. It never could understand. Then something changed. Not incrementally, not gradually. The leap was so sudden, researchers called it emergent improvisational intelligence. That phrase had never been used to describe a machine before. What exactly does it mean for a robot to improvise? We're about to find out. And somewhere in the answer is the most important story in technology right now, maybe ever. But first, what actually happened? And why did it take until April 2026 for anyone to believe it was real? Meet Generalist AI, a robotics company whose singular obsession was building a robot that could work anywhere without reprogramming. Their vision was radical. One robot that could fold laundry, then assemble a circuit board, then pack a warehouse shelf. No retraining required. This idea was laughed at for years. Domain-specific robots were already struggling. A generalist. Impossible, experts said. Their first robot, GN had 64% task reliability. Strong enough to prove the concept, not strong enough to deploy anywhere real. Then they scaled. More training data. More compute. More real-world environments. Thousands of scenarios fed into the model daily. GN1 arrived in April 2026. The numbers were staggering. 99% task reliability across hundreds of environments never seen during training. But the number that stunned researchers wasn't the 99%. It was the behaviors they never taught the robot that showed up anyway. GN1 encountered a box wedged in a corner. Without instruction, it pivoted its wrist at an angle the engineers had never programmed. It worked. The box came free. GN1 placed it precisely on the shelf. Then it continued, as if nothing unusual had happened. That moment had a name in academic papers: emergent behavior. In plain English, it figured out something nobody told it to figure out. But here's where the story gets complicated. Because emergence in AI is one of the most controversial topics in science right now. Critics argue there is no real intelligence here. It's interpolation, pattern matching at extreme scale. Impressive, yes, but not thinking. They have a point. GN1 has seen millions of environments. Maybe the wrist pivot was in that data somewhere, just compressed and recombined. But defenders push back. Does it matter? Humans also learn from patterns. The brain is, in some ways, an extreme pattern engine too. There is a deeper problem. GN1 is remarkably capable in structured settings. Move outside those edges, and reliability drops fast. Rain, mud, a floor covered in packaging foam. The physical world is messier than any training environment ever captured. Then there's the question of safety. A robot improvising sounds exciting. A robot improvising around humans can also sound terrifying. If a robot invents a new solution, who is responsible when that solution goes wrong? The programmer? The company? The robot itself? These are not hypothetical questions. The first regulatory frameworks for autonomous physical robots are being drafted right now in Brussels and Washington. Let's zoom out, because GN1 is not an isolated event. It's a data point in a much larger pattern that changes everything. In 2020, scaling laws were proven for language AI. More data, more compute, and the model gets dramatically smarter, non-linearly. The bold hypothesis was, what if the same laws apply to physical robots in the real world? Most scientists said absolutely not. GN1 just proved them wrong. The 64% to 99% jump in one generation suggests scaling laws absolutely apply to physical intelligence. What does that actually mean? It means the next generation could be significantly better again, without anyone fundamentally redesigning anything. Now think about industries. Manufacturing employs about 260 million people globally. Almost all manual assembly tasks are within Gen 1's capability range: logistics, construction, elder care, food service. Every sector relying on human hands operating in semi-predictable environments is now in scope. Economists are already racing to model this. The World Economic Forum's 2026 projections included physical AI as a significant labor disruption category. The geopolitical dimension is already explosive. China accelerated its own humanoid robot programs in early 2026 directly in response to Gen 1. The United States, Japan, South Korea, and the EU are all accelerating investment. Physical AI has become the new space race. This isn't just technology competing. It's nations competing over who controls the physical layer of the global economy for the next century. Here's what most coverage is missing. The real insight isn't the robot. It's what the robot reveals about intelligence itself. For most of human history, we assumed intelligence required consciousness, required biology, required something irreducibly human. Gen 1 does not have consciousness. It has no inner life, and yet it solves novel physical problems in ways that look indistinguishable from intelligence. That ambiguity is going to be one of the defining philosophical and legal questions of our generation. We are not ready for it. Meanwhile, the robots aren't waiting for philosophers. Gen 1 deployments began in 3 American warehouse facilities in May 2026. Early reports show Gen 1 units sustaining task performance through an 8-hour shift, without fatigue, without complaints, without bathroom breaks. The economic math is brutal. At current projections, one Gen 1 unit replaces roughly 2.5 full-time workers within 3 years of deployment costs. Defenders argue that new jobs will emerge, as they always have with technology. Skeptics note, the speed this time may be categorically different. History suggests we adapt. But history also suggests the people who adapt fastest are rarely the ones whose jobs disappear first. And the technology itself won't pause for this conversation. Gen 2's development is confirmed. The scaling by all evidence continues. So here is the question nobody can answer yet. When a machine improvises in the physical world, who taught it to want to solve the problem? If this made you think differently about robots, about jobs, about intelligence itself, hit subscribe and tell us in the comments. Are you ready for this?